Welcome to Oddball. This is the camera over here. I'm Amin and Izzy. That's Izzy Gutierrez. We are in the same place at the same time. Photographic proof. I feel like I have to hold up a newspaper too with today's date.
I mean, if we were at the same place at the same time, like we are now, and I'm like angry at you, and I'm just like walking past you in a huff, what's the last thing you're supposed to do? The last thing you're supposed to do.
Probably don't touch me.
Don't effing grab me by the wrist, man, like by the forearm. You're going to get two reactions from me. You're going to get one where it's just like, don't touch me because like I'm heated. Or you're going to get like the meanest stare you've ever gotten while I'm staring at my own wrist. Like Mike Budenholzer should not touch Kevin Durant in that scenario.
Oh, is that what you were talking about?
Yeah,
I thought we were just doing hypotheticals.
No, I'm never mad at you. What? Never mad at each other. Yeah, that was terrible of you.
All right. We know what else is terrible.
Food. I called him Coach Bood.
Budenholzer. It should be Coach Bood, by the way.
Right,
why is it Bud?
Yeah.
It's not Bunholzer. It's Budenholzer. You Bood. Just like, why is Coach Thibodeau Coach Tibbs?
Are we doing an episode on that?
Should be Tibbs.
Language.
NBA. Names. Dagnalt. That's another one.
Ooh.
You know what else is sad? Other than watching the Suns implode, but then stave off implosion for one night to beat the Clippers, is Kyrie Irving tearing his ACL. Yeah, the Mavs season from hell is just getting worse and worse. And the news comes out that Kyrie Irving's season is done. He's got a torn ACL. He appeared in 50 of the Mavs' 62 games so far and is currently the only player in the NBA, Izzy, averaging at least 20 points, shooting 40+% from three-point range and 90+% from the free throw line. So, Izzy, how should Mavs fans wake up today feeling about the news?
Just depressed. Like, I don't want to say, like, you could see this coming, right? But if you were to say, hey, like, what could go wrong for the Mavs next? It's the guy who's always had a bulky knee having an issue with his knee. And, like, they were playing him a lot of minutes. He was carrying that squad. There was no limitations for him. And when it happened, you're just like, man, I don't think there was a way they could have fixed that. But it also felt like unnecessary. Like he was holding the entire organization up on his shoulders at the time. And you know what? Maybe give him some time. But again, that's all like retroactive. Like you can't go back and change time. You can't predict this injury was going to happen. But it does feel like a lot was on Kyrie throughout this season.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not a doctor, Izzy.
No?
But I'm going to play one right now. It's a segment called I'm Not a Doctor.
Wait, am I the patient? Okay, no.
The patient is Adam Silver.
Thank God.
You're one of the other doctors
I'm
there.
just learning from you.
Maybe it's a teaching hospital. Yes. But here's the thing. It's like, yes, that injury could have happened at any time. Yes, he kind of had a weird landing. But the Luka trade put Kyrie in a situation where A, he has to play a lot of minutes. And B, the type of minutes he plays are not the same as other minutes. So he's been averaging since the trade, I believe 39 minutes a game, right? If Olivier Max Prosper, who is a Dallas Maverick, I promise you.
Okay.
That's just not a name I made up. Right?
Thanks for clarifying.
But if he were on this team, and excuse me, he's on this team. He is on this team. Sorry,
established.
But if he played 39 minutes in that same span, his 39 minutes are a lot of running up and down the floor and you know, playing hard on defense.
Occasionally standing.
Right. But a lot of standing, right? Kyrie's 39 minutes are the ball is in my hands. I have to make stuff happen for myself and for my teammates. Over the final about 6 weeks of the league, he was leading the league in minutes played basically since mid-January.
And the time for him to stand around was when Luka was handling and creating. He's no longer there.
But Luka wasn't there before that either because of the calf injury. So it's not like the minutes has spiked since the Luka trade. They've actually spiked since before that and the responsibility. So it's a lot of wear and tear. It's a risk that they invented, not inherited. They invented this risk for themselves because, again, they decided to do this deal, which even if Anthony Davis had been perfectly healthy and Daniel Gafford and everyone else was healthy, you're still putting the onus on Kyrie to do so much for them. And so I think that it's impossible to ignore the wear and tear with the eventual injury.
I want to stay on the sympathy tour here, and I want to play a little clip from Kyrie from his IG Live after the game.
was going to that free throw line and hitting both free throws. You know, if I didn't make those free throws, I would have been pissed all year. You guys have no idea. So I'm glad and grateful that I was, resilient enough and strong enough to go up there and make my free throws, because I know that meant something not only for me, but for all those out there that were, worried.
Okay. Has enough time passed already? What time is it? Okay. Enough time has passed since his injury, since those free throws, since that IG Live. What a crock of horse.
What?
Like, what a bunch of nonsense. First of all, those free throws literally mean nothing. I'm glad you're here, because this is the king. This is on top of the freaking mountain of look at me, Louie situations, okay? Because the free throws mean nothing, because not only does the game not mean anything, the season doesn't mean anything anymore. You're hurt. Now,
I didn't know that at the time.
Yes, you did. The reason the rule is in place is because, that player can't come back if he doesn't shoot those free throws. I don't care if they went to the back and the x-rays showed a perfect skeleton behind it and the MRI showed absolutely nothing. Dude was not coming back into this game. And if he did, that they should take the organization away from him, away from whomever owns the organization. Her, because that should not have come back in the game. There was zero chance of that happening. So him limping out there, shooting those two free throws, which again meant absolutely nothing, is just for show. It's just so he can mouth whatever he mouthed, thank you, God, and then have this specific, immediately he was thinking about his message afterward.
Okay, to be fair, he says thank you, God, every time he goes to the free throw line. Second of all, he was doing this in the middle of Ramadan, which I'm doing as well. I'm fasting. He was fasting while doing that.
All the more reason to get your ass in the locker room and relax.
No, look, man, the rule exists. Here's why the rule exists. The rule exists is because they didn't want a situation where Shaq, who could not shoot free throws, could be like, sub out for Mike Penberthy. Mike Penberthy hits two free throws, nails them, and then Shaq says, "Oh,
Family Guy and Mike Penberthy.
My knee feels better," and then he runs back out there and plays.
Correct.
And dominates.
Okay.
That's why the rule exists. Now, Kobe Bryant, who Kyrie was very close with and shares an affinity with, right? Kobe Bryant, when he ruptured his Achilles, he literally had, he knew what happened because he rolled his Achilles up in order to walk over.
I would argue that Kobe Bryant, in his mind, thought to himself, I can absolutely wrap this thing up and play on one leg after the break or after I get back. There's no, for Kyrie, this was all just copying Kobe and doing that. And it's just look, I get it, man. You changed your whole image. Everybody loves you. I'm just going to call you out on that one. That's the ultimate look at me, Louie. I know you want to turn an injury into a positive situation. I get all that. Get the hell off the floor, man. You don't need to shoot those free throws.
This is the only part I'll agree with you. The Instagram Live with the laugh. Yeah, man. I said it in the break. It was it reminded me a little bit. I'm not comparing these two people, but that laugh and the way he discussed it reminded me of Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm. And let me also say, yes, he might say thank you, God, before every free throw. I didn't know that until these free throws. And so that's something that was not pointed out. And he mouthed that thing, especially slow, so that lip reader on TikTok can get it right.
No.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry to ruin it. But
you did ruin it. And Kyrie, I appreciated it. That's him over there that's saying all that. That's right. Push you right under the bus. Oh, by the way, if you thought that was it for the Mavs, Jaden Hardy is out indefinitely with an ankle injury, and also AD might not come back at all this season. So this kind of feels worse than any doomsday scenario that Nico and company could have dreamed. What do you cling to hope for if you are the Dallas Mavericks?
Well, a couple of things. One, I cling to the hope that he recovers faster than Jamal Murray did, because Jamal Murray took forever to get back to his normal self after his ACL injury. And then I just paint the picture of how and why we got Kyrie in the first place if I'm the Mavs. It's, hey, he was supposed to be a complimentary pick or player to Luka and hopefully work out, right? And so at the best, he's a good number 2, but really he's going to be a number 3 at this stage of his career, and especially coming off of this injury. So if we can just add one more capable sort of combo guard, doesn't have to be an all-star, a capable combo guard, get the ball out of Kyrie's hands, let him do more of standing and watching when necessary, and just be the man in the fourth quarters. If, and this is the huge if, they had when they made this trade, if Anthony Davis can stay healthy and give you, an all NBA first team type of season, that's all you're going to really need, and you can let let sort of Kyrie get healthy. Maybe by the end of the season, he'll be something like his old self.
Can I give you some other things around this, right?
If I say no and leave, what would you do?
I'd just do it, and then I'd have a one-man show. So, number one, of all of the major injuries, the ACL might be, we've perfected that repair.
Yeah, it's better than an Achilles, that's for sure.
For sure. And for the most part, players return off of ACLs, and the repaired knee is good as new, in some cases, even better than what it was prior to surgery. So ACL, pretty straightforward recovery, not 6 to 9 months. So probably we're going to see him around Christmas time, New Year's, around that, right? Barring any added complications like what happened to Klay Thompson when he was rehabbing from his injury, right? Number two is Kyrie is going to be he can opt out and be a free agent this summer. I had a great conversation yesterday with Ryan McDonough, former GM of the Suns, and Zach Harper on NBA radio. And we were talking about this, and he kind of has the Mavs over a barrel because
Kyrie does, not McDonough.
Yes, Kyrie does. We were talking about this, not about Ryan, right? Kyrie has the Mavs over a barrel in this sense. When they did that deal, it was clear the only offensive generator, playmaker for others was going to be Kyrie Irving. Anthony Davis is a play terminator. He's not a play creator, right? And so you need Kyrie. If he opts out, you can't let him walk because you can't replace him. They are so, because of the Caleb Martin deal, they're above the first apron, or their apron breathing room is very small. So they can't do a whole bunch. They have to remain flexible. So the only way they can kind of keep their team going well is if they retain Kyrie. Now, Ryan brought up a really smart idea, which is where Kyrie opts into the deal and then signs an extension like a week later. But either way, it's the semantics. He's going to get paid. A lot of people are like, oh no, he got hurt. Now he's going to lose that money. I think he's going to be fine. But the Mavs, again, painted themselves into a corner, injury or not to Kyrie, like where we're dependent on him. We can't afford to lose him.
Really quick, I'm not a shrink, but I might play one on TV. Maybe we're going to have to get a new graphic for that. Not a doctor, not a shrink.
Shrinks are doctors sometimes, right?
Yeah. Given Kyrie's history with that knee, his sort of body language afterward, even the IG and the happiness and all that stuff, it seems like he's already come to terms that this is not just an ACL, but this is like ridiculously serious, because like if you've got a lot going on in that knee and you go further, tear the ACL, maybe a couple of other alphabets in there, like that could be disastrous. And for Kyrie, like I think the first major knee injury is not going to be like everybody else's because he's already had so much going on there. But again, that's all speculation. The good thing is they don't, well, I don't know.
Part of that was being a shrink.
Oh, his body language.
Oh,
and how he's how he's receiving it immediately.
I thought you just turned into a doctor again. Talking about his knee.
Well, if he does come back, let's just say 9 to 10 months from now, right? And is on the court, something close to his old self. Like at least that's starting point for a rebuild. This sort of made me think about teams that just got super unlucky and how they were able to bounce back from that. And I can't really think of a ton of teams. You think maybe of like the 2020 and 21 Warriors being down bad and then recovering for 2020. But that was just, I mean, I guess that was Steph injury. So that's one example.
And Clay injury.
That's another one.
But I don't think they lost hope.
Correct.
I don't like that example because everyone knew when they get back, they'll be good.
Well, how about the 15 or 14 Miami Heat when they lost Chris Bosh to the blood clots and had to sort of rebuild around an aging Dwayne Wade real quick and managed to get themselves to the second round, I think a year or two later.
Again, like I don't think they lost hope. Obviously, they lost hope of a championship, but they didn't lose hope in the way. This doesn't look like a play-in team. And if there were more time left in the season, I'd say Portland will probably catch them, but there isn't enough time. And so they're going to be in the play-in. No, this hopelessness takes me to like, I think about the Sixers, the process Sixers. Like that was hopeless. They had players who were not NBA caliber players. And their general manager basically said, eventually this will all work out. But there wasn't like a target date. They didn't even know in what form it would come. It finally came in the form of Joel Embiid, who, by the way, missed like the first 2 years of his career. So that to me is the kind of hopelessness that I think of when you think of this situation.
Before we go to break, I want to set up a conspiracy theory for you so that it never happens, okay? Because unlike you, I actually think the Mavericks can fall down into the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And what could happen if they're in the lottery? They could win it. What happens if they win the lottery after trading Luka Doncic to the Lakers and they get back Cooper Flagg? That would have conspiracy written all over it. And we're about to go to break because I have something in my throat that's making me have to cough.
It's the only it's the only pick they own.
Play the music!
No, keep him coughing.
Welcome back to Oddball. If you heard whispering there, that was Amin telling me I should start. It's time for Propa Slot. Propa Slot's presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Oh, yeah.
You know the rules. I think Slot Machine will generate some picks for us. DraftKings prop bets for tonight's game. We get to decide if we want that bet. If not, we go to the next one after 3. Here's a new twist. If we decide to decline on all 3, we have to take the parlay of the opposite of all 3.
We have to
we
take
have
it?
to. There's no choice. Our hands are tied. Let's go ahead with the first spin.
All right. That's how you. That's the signal.
That's
for
like hands are tied is like behind your back. Maybe I'm not sure.
No one has ever like arrested someone.
Oh, you're thinking of arrest. Okay.
Well, I mean,
we got Klay Thompson over 3.5 threes. That's at plus 100. The Mavs are at the Bucks tonight. I mean, Klay is now the only player left on the Dallas Mavericks, so he's going to get all the shots. What do you think?
Who's passing him the ball? Spencer Dinwiddie?
He's not getting great looks, but Klay doesn't need great looks. But 4 is a big number to hit.
I feel so bad for Klay. The whole point was I just get to stand there and while people focus on Luka and Kyrie, I get all these wide open looks.
I want to feel bad for Klay too because I feel like, oh, wow, he looks really sad, but he's looked that way even when they were winning championships. So I don't know if he's really that sad, but I think...
I've often argued that Klay has no idea what's happening.
No idea. No emotions.
He's in his own world.
He's just a Labrador Retriever puppy.
Yeah. We're turning this.
We're going to pass on this. Okay.
No way.
Let's go to the next.
Why would you take a Mavericks pick? What are you guys thinking over there?
I mean, you're thinking,
Oh, it's
got to pick somebody.
It's a slot machine. We don't know.
Ooh, that slot machine has Zach Edey looking at me, which I hope he never actually does. I was avoiding him like crazy All-Star weekend.
Really?
Over how many? Over 9.5 points. So Zach Edey to hit double figures. Thunder are at the Grizzlies tonight, so the Grizzlies are at home. Big game for Memphis. Not so much for the Thunder, who have a huge cushion. What do you think? 9.5?
They're going to run his ass off the floor, man. Get out of here with that mess. And by the way, I walked by him several times.
Yeah.
He didn't say a word.
That's
you know why?
He didn't look down at you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, because he didn't see me at all.
We will pass. All right, this is a big one here. The big spin.
This is a big spin. This is a huge spin here.
Huge spin. So the greatest player in the world, Nikola Jokic, under. I hate taking unders, 12.5 rebounds. Ooh. And if we say no to this one, we have to take the opposite of the other ones, which means we're betting unders on parlay.
Under on Klay, under on Zach Edey, over on Jokic, 12.5 rebounds. I kind of like that.
I don't know. You know what? I want to take this under. I want to take the under because you got Sabonis gobbling up all the rebounds. I think Nico is going to stay at 12 exactly. That's my prediction. We're taking this one because parlays are scary.
Are they?
I mean, they're very scary. Like everything, I don't know if you know this, everything has to hit in order for you to win a parlay. So it can't just be like 66% of these things, but... Now that you know that, you can introduce our new game.
All right, we got a new game, and this one is a blind ranker. Let me put on my sunglasses for this.
You mean like the people on the college football playoff committee?
Oh, wait, no, I'm not blind in ranking. We're ranking some of these new NBA nicknames that keep popping up. We're putting them 1 to 10. 10 is our favorite, and 1 is our least. That doesn't sound right. No. 1 is our favorite, right? And 10 is our least favorite, right? That's how it goes.
Yes. We're number 1, not we are number 10. Is the chance,
what are you guys doing there? All right. The twist is that Izzy and I haven't seen the nicknames that we will be ranking. And once we rank a name, we can't move it. So this is a very fun TikTok game, right? Like the whole idea, like, oh, Pizza Hut's my favorite or whatever. And they're like, no, Carl's Jr.
You only know one at a time. Yeah. All right. Well, what's the first nickname?
First nickname.
The anomaly, Jason
10.
Tatum.
All the way at the
immediately
bottom.
10, immediately
all the way at the
no.
bottom.
Immediately no.
All of it. All of it. It's a dumb name, And also it's a name that doesn't really particularly fit him, nor play on words on his name. It's all bad. It's 10. It can't get worse than this.
I would go with him something, maybe a playoff of beige because of his skin tone.
Beige Mamba.
There you go.
He'd love that one. He's like, oh my God, like Kobe.
Definitely number 10. Don't love it. I actually hadn't heard it yet. What's the next one? The Predicament.
That's a good name.
That's a good name for a movie about Evan Mobley, but is it a good nickname?
I tell you what, it's a
Mobley?
good nickname. It can be taken as a positive. It can be taken as a negative. The positive is how are we going to stop Evan Mobley? This guy's amazing. How do you do it? The negative is, some days Evan Mobley just wants to be one of the guys and doesn't want to be the predicament for the opponent.
Sometimes he's a real jerk and he puts the dick in predicament.
Well, okay. That's not.
I'd say number 5. Stick it right in the middle.
5, sure. Yes.
All right.
For the purposes of the joke alone, I'll go along.
What's the next nickname?
Right. Nickname.
The Paradox.
The Paradox. Okay, these are not. Are we coming up with these? These are not real.
The Paradox. I think Kevin Durant would say no to all of these if they were him because he had a perfect nickname and declined it. But the Paradox, I got to put that low like 7 or 8. I mean, that's
8 because it's now you're just saying.
We're landing on 8. I mean, it also doesn't start with a C. Like Cade Cunningham is begging for a nickname that starts with a C. What's the next one?
The Motorcade is a good one. I don't know why we're doing this.
Probably jumped the shark too quickly. What's the next one? The Unit Circle.
9.
I mean,
I don't even know. What does it mean?
Somebody get to my mentions on Instagram, my DMs, maybe, and let me know what a unit circle is.
What does that mean?
Because he is neither a unit nor a circle.
What does it mean? No, what does a unit circle mean? What does that even mean?
I'm legitimately asking a question.
I know a paradox. I know an anomaly. I don't know what a unit circle is.
No idea.
It's a mathematical.
What's the next nickname while we figure this one out? The eye test, Cam Thomas.
I kind of like this one.
This one's up there.
I kind of like this one.
Because it kind of depends on what you see, right? If you've got good vision, you see, a player that's probably not worth it. But if you got some blurry vision, dude looks like Allen Iverson out there.
Well, I'll tell you why I like the eye test. Because he's a guy, I don't even know this as a fact. But just judging by the way he plays, I know he's the type of player that the analytics probably don't like.
Yeah.
But then the guys who love hoopers, buckets, they like that kind of guy. So the eye test,
take off their glasses and they're like, let me see that for myself. Pass the eye
We got
test.
a definition for unit circle, mathematical concept used to learn trigonometry. I did really well in trigonometry in school. I've never heard of the unit circle.
Listen, LaMelo Ball is not teaching me anything that doesn't have to do with basketball.
Trigonometry, maybe. What's the next name?
Wait, we didn't pick a position for that. That one's got to be number 2. That one's number 2.
Yeah, the eye test too.
Eye test is number 2.
Eye test is good. Put him at 2. All right, what else we got?
The question.
No, sorry, man. That's
the question. What's the lowest remaining rank we have?
Yeah, whatever it is, give him that.
It's a terrible nickname, and like Trae Young's been around a long time. We know what the answer is already. He is.
The answer is Allen Iverson,
right? And this is what the opposite of Allen Iverson. People hating on Trae Young is just going way too far.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
The onomatopoeia. Bam Adebayo.
Yes, because that's the sound he makes when he dunks, except he takes a lot of mid-range shots now.
But can we give a nickname to a player whose name is a nickname? No. I think we have to keep this one at number 3 because we're nicknaming his nickname.
I'm going to say 4.
4?
4.
All right, let's go number 4.
I have hope.
For the onomatopoeia. Do we have to put the in front of all these? What's the next nickname?
Lose the. It's a lot cleaner.
Onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
Also, bam.
The alliteration. These, again.
Also would have worked for Cade Cunningham. The alliteration tells me nothing about his basketball game. Absolutely nothing. Yeah. It's just 3 letters.
Oh, because it's JJJ.
That's number 6, which to me is like the worst ranking. What's the next one? The trolley problem.
I wish we hadn't given away 6.
The trolley problem.
What is that? What does that have to do?
Like if he played in San Francisco, maybe they have trolleys over there. What
San Francisco, maybe?
I always thought like it was like a reference to Obama. Like, thanks, Aldama. Whenever he misses a 3,
that's a lot better than. All right, I guess it's got to be 3, but
we have no choice. Oh, great! This is the worst possible scenario: is when you leave the last one and you have only number 1 available. The ad hominem fallacy. Absolutely glad that's number 1 because we're going to have to do research on that and explain to me what the hell that means.
What does ad hominem mean? It's like when people. All I know is on Twitter when people are arguing. It's like you're making ad hominem. I'm like, shut up, nerd.
I'm never getting involved in a conversation if somebody's like, you're making ad hominem. I'm checking out immediately.
Yeah.
What's with all the hate for Trae Young? Like, is it just lasting forever? Like, unless the dude wins an NBA Finals MVP, like, are we just going to hate him forever?
Where was there was a guy they call spell check. I can't remember whose name it was, but it's because he's got a really complicated name.
Onyeka Okonkwo?
It's maybe a Congo, maybe someone else. I want to say it was someone else, but either way.
If we're redrafting over here, the predicament is probably number one.
Eye test is number one. Eye test is. We should have gone number one eye test. We should have known they were going to get better.
Eye test. I mean, I think it's funny. It does have a lot of good meme potential, like JR squinting. That's it for Oddball, I think.
Memes and nightmares on Hulu.